Hi guys, welcome back. It's Tommy on the South Korean ladder. I have a very interesting game here from August 2025. So this game has been played 5 days ago on the 20th of August on the South Korean ladder. And yeah, we have a very interesting game here in between the two pros. We have spawning in the upper right in the brown. It is Flash, and his opponent here with his barcode AK. It is Snow as the Protoss. So quite a long game, as you can see from the timer. 20-minute mark. We should have a very interesting game here. I didn't watch it, but I hope they're playing very seriously, even though sometimes on the ladder they are goofing around, they are just trying new tactics and so on. However, these two players, this matchup could have always been a grand final from a very strong tournament, just like the ASL or Soup like it's called now. So yeah, we do have the production tab in the upper left part, just like we do in all the previous replays here onto this channel. And we're also going to be checking out the build order from the two players with a very fast scouting actually here from Snow. So I really like that from him. He really wants to know where exactly Flash is located and what exactly his build order is. Currently both players with a standard build order, pylon into gateway and supply depot into barracks. Of course very close towards the base in order to give the Marines the possibility to outmicro some early zealots. So yeah, the scouting is going on. Flash also scouting here around the 1 minute and 50-second mark. We do see another pylon and gas here for Snow. So let's have a look what exactly they will be going for. Like I told you, I didn't watch the replay. It would be nice to see Snow going for some mass scouts like he has shown us into previous replays versus a very known streamer and also very known YouTuber here. So it could be an interesting idea to just mass scout Flash, or carriers could also be a nice idea. And yeah, let's have a look what Flash is going for. This should be his factory, so we might see the normal mech. However, like I told you, Snow could also be up for a surprise. However, the APM is very high here for both players, so this looks like indeed a serious matchup, a serious game in between them. Or let's see, maybe one of them will try something out of the ordinary. It would be very interesting. It also would be very nice given the fact that it is not a tournament, it's just a matchup on the South Korean ladder, just like I told you. So yeah, slowly but steadily we will pass the 3-minute mark. No sneaky movement yet here. Perhaps Flash might try to hide a starboard. It is quite a known strategy for the Terrans to hide a starboard and just do a drop with 3 vultures into the early game. Could be quite deadly versus the economy from the Protoss. The same can be said here for the Protoss as well. A shuttle gameplay with some reverse could also be an interesting idea, as we actually do see Snow going out early, sniping a Marine and almost killing the second Marine there. However, with that I believe the aggression is going to be over. The SCV now scouts the expansion, knows that there won't be any other units coming towards his way, as the first Dragoon is also getting produced here for Snow. So this will of course allow Flash to immediately also go for his expansion here, as things I believe will settle down slowly but steadily, just like I told you, unless some of them will try a early harassment. Dark Templars, I believe, no options yet here for the Protoss, as he is also going into this expansion. So yeah, with that both players focusing onto their macro game. A good snap here by Flash with his vulture, as the vulture mines will be planted very soon, of course, to give more time towards the expanding Terran here. Let's have a look once again into his main. There's the upgrade for the vultures. We also see the upgrade for the Dragoon range, and this could be the robotics facility here for Snow. So Snow might try to go for some observers early on. He knows that there are some vultures out onto the map. It's going to be very hard for him to move out with Dragoons without the observer support. At the same time, he could also try a shuttle with a reaver. Let's have a look exactly what's he going for. I don't see a observatory yet. He could add one here, actually leaving this pass open. Quite interesting for him. First vulture is moving forward, getting almost surrounded here, as the Dragoons will very likely try to snipe the mine. However, like I told you, the fact that he didn't wall off there might cost him a couple of probes, even some damage towards the Dragoons. So interesting decision here, leaving this gap open. Perhaps a small mistake here by Snow, as even one probe is getting sniped, perhaps even two, so the Vulture doing quite a good job. Snow a little bit slow here. His probes are on idle, so what exactly is he microing? Interesting stuff here by him, making some mistakes, so perhaps he's tired. He is a father, so perhaps with that he might be a little bit unfocused here. Maybe he's tired, maybe he was just focusing onto something else. A little bit his APM actually dropped here, so he could have been busy with his family. It's always a possibility here for him. And yeah, losing a Dragoon, even two Dragoons I believe, some probes, as now he's finally walling off here nicely. So realizing of course that leaving this path open is a mistake, as now Flash is moving forward with his upgraded Vultures. Speed has been done. They try of course to move here forward, but Snow, knowing the timing, immediately decides to shut this down by walling off here really nicely. So good job by him. Let's have a look. He's indeed going for the observatory. Some probes are still on idle here for him, so he needs to be careful. And yeah, let's have a look at those factories here for Flash, two with add-ons, so we might see some tanks very soon. We even have the weapons 1 upgrade at the same time. A good sniping here for Flash, not allowing Snow to not allowing his macro game to kick in, but yeah, this will be fended off. However, some time has been wasted here for Snow, so a good move out here by Flash. Yeah, sniping the probe, and of course even one Dragoon has been sniped here, so Snow has to now somehow split his troops. He has to defend his main expansion point at the same time. He needs to be careful against those Vultures moving out here. And actually at one point some Vultures might even sneak here forward, so the mines are getting some good connections. And now finally the floodgates are open, so this could be very good for Flash as he's moving forward versus the probe, sniping one after the other. So Snow with some mistakes here into the early game. I don't think it's going to cost him. However, now Flash having 6 more workers than his opponent, so quite a great start here by Flash. Snow with some mistakes, and with that giving of course a smaller advantage here for his opponent. However, Snow at the 3 base option here strategy versus the only 2 bases for Flash. So slowly but steadily you can see how Snow is recovering. However, the early damage has been done here for Flash versus his opponent. Also a good map awareness by him, planting so many mines, making it really hard for Snow to move out with his forces. So yeah, quite a good start by Flash. Not the same can be said here for Snow. Now finally walling off very nicely here. Even the expansion took some damage, but yeah, I believe he's either tired or something is happening here. Either some probes are once again on idle, perhaps he's just busy with those Dragoons clearing the mines. And now we see the first shuttle move out with the Reaver, and we also have the starting speed for the shuttle. Let's have a look if Flash is going to be ready for this. Does he have some anti-air? Yes indeed he does, only have there. So if Snow chooses this path, yeah, Flash thinking about this as well, also adding a turret here. However, the main now finally gets the turret, so good timing here for Flash, knowing of course the possibilities from his opponent, adding those important turrets. However, this spot right here could be abused by Snow. There are some tanks moving here forward. Let's have a look what Snow is going to be doing and where exactly is he going to drop. Sniping one tank, very good snap by him. Second tank has been sniped, so finally Snow coming back into this game. Even some Marines might get taken out. The Reaver is there with a good shot, dealing so much damage towards the Goliath, and another shot could even snap that. What exactly is he doing with the Reaver? And sadly here for him, he's actually losing the shuttle with that the Reaver pretty much exposed, so the Reaver has to run for his life. Very funny to see this worm running away, and perhaps the second shuttle is going to move out to save him. Yeah, a little bit of an interesting move by Snow there, and with that I believe the Reaver, hold on, he's actually fighting for his life. Flash of course realizing this, the Reaver is still alive into the back with only 1 HP for him, 3 kills however, and very funny to see indeed this Reaver moving here forward, guarded actually by those Dragoons in the front. I believe a second shuttle will move out very soon, either that or this Reaver is going to be somehow a hero Reaver. Yeah, still 1 HP, there's the saving shuttle here for Snow. As the action continues here, the high ground is in control for Snow, snapping more units, also losing 2 Dragoons, but yeah, not allowing Flash to expand here, so very important stuff for Snow. as now he has 4 more workers than his opponent. So he's slowly but steadily coming back. Luckily his Reaver did survive. I believe a second Reaver is on his way. More scarab damage is also here on their way as we have passed the 10-minute mark. So yeah, there's the expansion at the 12 o'clock for Flash, deciding to go into a more safer place, playing very defensively right now and adding more factories. Let's have a look at the Protoss, as we do have a dancing probe here with more gateways for Snow as well, and a nice pylon here for him. Yeah, there's the second Reaver. Dragoons are in position, so both players on a small stalemate, just preparing their macro game. Perhaps Flash is going to try to snipe something from this new established base by the opponent. Just a cannon is about to get finished. So good defense here by Snow, and both players actually very close on their worker count. Yeah, let's have a look. Still a very interesting game, still anyone's game. Sloppy start by Snow, but coming back, sniping some good units from Flash. And yeah, more SCVs are getting transferred now towards the 12 o'clock position here for him. So at the same time, Snow might take this position right here. Let's have a look. Either that, or he's going to perhaps hide some starports. Who knows? Maybe he's going into mass starports with some carriers, with some scouts. Could this be the possibility here for him? Yeah, let's see what exactly his plans are, as the observers are slowly but steadily moving here out for Snow, and no observers here into the main from Flash. So Flash doing a great job sniping those observers, scanning the area, having a good vision, as he's now moving out once again with the Vulture. So this is actually his plans, just a small move out with the Vulture, sniping of course as much as he can, planting as many mines as he can, trying to keep Snow at bay, but we do have a move out here by Snow. Let me just check the upgrades. 0-0 for him. I believe weapons 1 has been done indeed for Flash, and even plating for him. So 1-1. Very good upgrades here for Flash. No speed has been done here for Snow, so I don't think he's going to move out here to attack. Now finally, of course, speed has been done, as we do have weapons 1 and armor on the way. So he has 2 forges at home somewhere hidden there. They are finally. His upgrades will also kick in very soon. So Flash on a more defensive way now. I believe he's going to wait until he's maxed out and then move out with his mech army, with those tanks, with the Vultures. And yeah, let's see what the next steps are going to be, as more and more mines are getting cleared here for the Protoss, and this expansion actually looking very good. More and more cannons are getting dropped, and Flash actually has to make his move if he's allowing Snow to continue with his macro game, with his expanding game all of the map. He is going to be quite far behind, so very soon I believe Flash is going to try and move out with his tanks. I believe his first targets will be the newly established bases. Still moving out with lots and lots of Vultures here. Might get a good surround, might get some good mine connections. That's exactly what he wants to do. A good micro here by Snow, of course. Some damage will be taken, just so many Vultures here from the opponent. And Vultures are actually very good versus those Zealots, if Flash of course is going to kite them nicely back and forth. So very good micro here by Flash. In the end he has to pull back, trying of course to lure those Dragoons towards the tanks, towards the mines. Of course very hard now here for Snow. He has to clear the mines, and he has to be careful versus the tanks who are waiting in the back for Flash. There they are. And yeah, as you can see on the minimap, more and more is getting sent out here by Snow, as he's actually maxed out. So Snow might be the one trying the first attack. He has the shuttle in the back, he has some Zealots in the front. The mines might get some connection towards their own units very soon. Let's have a look what exactly the plans are here for Snow. Still taking good damage out of the mines. Interesting move out here by Snow with only 3 Dragoons. I believe he's just going to check where exactly those tanks are, and here finally he finds the tanks there into this location. However, the real damage is going to happen here into a newly established base by Flash. Some good connections with those storms. Snow with a very good position here for him, taking Flash by surprise, given the fact that Flash has so many tanks into another position. He might have to unsiege all of those tanks and move here forward to defend. Once again a great storm, and no reaction yet here for Flash, as he's still sieging up here. So many units are on idle for him. and with that he is going to lose a very important position. The expansion stays alive, however the mining time has been stopped, and now Flash with a great mistake here, actually moving forward with those SCVs. He very likely forgot about those SCVs, so either that is very late in Korea, so both players with mistakes here costing him dearly here, losing 5 SCVs. Needs to be more careful, and yeah, sadly for him it's going to be a little bit behind unless those tanks will be very well guarded by the vultures in the front. The tanks could be quite deadly, of course, with their upgrades versus Snow. So perhaps Flash was busy microing those tanks. He's going to get some good kills here, punishing those Dragoons for the sniping of the SCVs and retaking his expansion. So that's a very important move here by him. Let's just need to be careful against the... I thought it would have been reversed, but no, it's actually High Templars, as Flash tries, of course, his best to out-micro this, but still some good storms here by Snow. However, Snow should be able now to pull back those units. He doesn't really have so many units to back them off, so Flash with some great spread out of those tanks, being able to clear out those important units from Snow, and with that Flash into a better position now right now with a good defense. Did lose some mining time here, but right now he's actually looking very well. His tanks are nicely spread out all over the map, having some good positions, making it very hard here for Snow to somehow penetrate forward towards the base. At the same time he's moving out, planting more and more mines. Of course, observers are much needed here for the Protoss, as more and more damage is being taken here by the Zealots, and Flash with quite outstanding micro here with the vultures, making life really hard for Snow here. So very good stuff by Flash. However, the expansions keep on growing here for Snow. He is very likely going to be able to come back somehow into this game, as he has so many workers, 70 workers for him. Perhaps he's going to be able to afford to lose more and more units, as his control is also very well. Flash still staying onto this strategy, vultures, mass vultures with upgrades, trying to get some good connections. Let's have a look what exactly is going to happen here. The shuttle quite far out in the front, some Zealots are getting dropped. Good connections here by Snow, nice defensive matrix here being used. Of course, Flash is going to try to snipe the High Templars first. The tanks stand their ground, the defenses are in the front for Flash, as both players still at the same amount of units here, and the shuttle might get sniped. So a very balanced engagement here, but like I told you, Snow having the economic advantage here, as you can see on the minimap, just keeps on sending out more and more units. Let's have a look to his upgrades. 1 to 2, Flash might be closing towards 3 to 3. That's exactly what he's doing. So Flash having the better upgrades for him, Snow having the larger amount of an army, as he's once again closing towards 200 of a supply versus Flash. Is he going to commit here forward? Not that many Zealots are being left alive here for Flash, however they're still somehow ready to reach forward. Not that many mines here for Flash, as he has to siege up in the back. The Dragoons are getting some good connections now, as Snow just keeps on moving forward, losing of course some units, but yeah, in comes the shuttle, perhaps with some Reaver, with some High Templars. It was just Zealots for him. And yeah, Flash losing lots and lots of units. Still a good storm being casted, and more energies being available here for Snow, as he just keeps on sniping unit after unit. Of course he's going to lose all of those units, but like I told you, his economy is going to allow him to come back here into this game. You can see that immediately sending out another group of units. He has so many gateways at home, 6, even 8, even 10 I believe, even here into the upper ground. Yeah, he's making more units, and yeah, Flash perhaps realizing this, not really punishing the expanding Protoss here. One dropship with some vultures could have done so much damage here, or some cannons were here available, so perhaps this position would have been better to drop. And yeah, Snow with quite an outstanding macro game. Settled here for Flash. He didn't really reach the expansions here from his opponent. Even some siege tanks could have been a great idea into the dropships. But yeah, sadly here for Flash, losing this game, interesting enough, allowing the macro game for the Protoss to kick in here for him. So Snow with a quite outstanding game after many mistakes into the early game. He came back into this game, and yeah, this is exactly what happens when the Terran is not punishing the macro game from the Protoss. In the end, the Protoss will of course be so much stronger. His economy is going to allow him to come back into the game I believe Snow even had around 12 to 15 gateways, so as soon as the units have been lost, the economy, the strong economy, would have been able to bring him back. Let's have a look at the resources mined. So gas pretty much the same, however minerals, you can see that those were very likely zealots there here for Snow. Almost 20k more has been spent here by Snow, so obviously imbalancement here. Bash not being able to punish this, realizing this, of course. Perhaps he was tired. Same can be said here for Snow. Maybe they played it really late into the night, but yeah, Snow with a very good micro game and a great economy for him, winning this game quite convincingly in the end. And yeah, still Flash with good upgrades. The upgrades could have kept him into the game, but yeah, in the end, wave after wave have been sent here by Snow. So with that, Snow taking this game in the end quite convincingly. So a nice game for him. Both players played really well. Congratulations to Snow. I hope you guys enjoyed. This is Tommy signing out.